I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
I fear they've poisoned Ivy. Nothing too soon.
That
Hilarious.
That was the line.
Ivy's going through it.
You know, Ivy is going through it. I can't not love Clayface. That is so
He
real.
is amazing.
He
so
steals the
good.
moment.
I
He's
know he
emerged
does.
as like my fave character.
And the little things, food preparation. What does that even mean? Like the little things that they slide in there, just brilliant. Of course, when we say there, we mean here. DC's Harley Quinn, season 1, episode 11, Harley Quinn Highway. Who thought of that highway? That is the most elaborate highway of them all.
Harley, clearly.
very
I know.
designed it.
It's something that Chauncey would have thought of. And if you don't know Chauncey, she is to my left. We are the glorious panel that includes Chauncey and Tatiana and of myself, of course. I love that simultaneous wave. That's a team.
Well, we didn't want to be like, hi, like this is too much. So we just
That was a bit too much.
Yeah.
That extra arm, that almost stiffed arm.
Just wanted
Chauncey.
to show you. Sorry.
You're,
I got it.
so if I had to choose which one was Harley Quinn between the two of you,
Didn't we have this discussion?
clearly it would be
I'm not Harley Quinn. I don't think I'm Harley Quinn.
It would be Chauncey. It's just, of course you don't think you're Harley Quinn.
I don't think I'm
Of course
Harley
you don't think you're Harley Quinn. It would be Chauncey. Right after that, it's got to be Charlie. Chauncey, we're going to be talking DC's Harley Quinn, season 1, episode 11, Harley Quinn Highway. We're going to break it down as thus. The crew is back together, or are they really? Rescuing Ivy, that creepy mansion. What is Ivy's biggest fear? It's not what we think, but it is. Trans changer, more than meets the eye. Harley Quinn Highway, monster trees, and more. And of course, we're going to have our special segment, How Harley Are You? Where we choose a moment in the episode which reminds you of me, or reminds me of you, or reminds us of it. And we do have some news and gossip. We're going to talk about that. And of course, we'd love to have predictions, but with this kind of show, predictions are quite impossible.
Too chaotic.
I mean, monster trees. If you had predicted monster trees,
No.
yeah. What were your overall thoughts on this week's episode?
I thought it was nice to see the vulnerability. I really love Harley and Ivy's relationship. It's what makes the show, essentially. So I love that we're diving deeper into that, especially going into Ivy's mind.
And as a mother of 4 children, would you
Like how you slipped that in.
ever let your children watch this show?
No.
No.
Because I can only imagine how many people are letting their children watch this show thinking it's a cartoon.
I mean, my daughter saw what I was watching when I started watching it, and she was like, "Oh, we can watch this together." And I said, "Oh no, it's
No,
not
no.
for kids."
No,
and she was
no.
like, "But it's a cartoon." And I was like, "No, some cartoons are only for adults."
No, okay. So
yeah.
now your daughter thinks you're watching child cartoon,
Yeah.
porny
By
stuff.
myself.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
She has lots of
Chauncey,
questions.
what was your overall thought on this episode?
I liked it. I mean, it's one of those things where it's
I don't feel like I was sold on the I liked it.
I mean, I thought I felt like they've had better episodes, but this one really focused. We got some throwbacks to the Harley Quinn Highway, which was established a couple episodes back.
And it was just a nod,
it's a
too.
It's a nice nod. And then I thought some of the plot line being discussed while the chase was going on. I've seen it before. We've seen it before, but it worked. Considering I did like what you said about the idea of the Ivy and Harley Quinn relationship. And I thought in this instance, it was nice to see a bit more about Ivy, because up to this point, it's a Harley Quinn series, but, Ivy's been this really solid rock for Harley. And I think it was nice to kind of see her vulnerability and like just what's going on inside of her head. And why is she so much a cheerleader for Harley? Why is she, wanting to have this connection with this fellow person?
Well, did they address that in the very beginning, where they said that Harley basically helped Ivy when she was as a therapist?
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
But the concept of because Ivy does come off so strong, it was actually almost shocking to see her have such a tumultuous relationship with her father. It would have made just sense if Ivy was the way she was simply because of her connection to plants and tree
to the
life.
environment.
And to the environment. But no, what they did was they brought in a father who was like, I thought you'd have at least one friend here.
Yeah, that was so
But your
sad. No one
mother
showed up to
didn't
her.
believe anyone would come. I guess she was like so strong.
Which kind of connects to why Ivy is so connected to plants, right? Because plants have never done her dirty. It's been humans most of her life. And humans do plants dirty and animals dirty and everyone dirty because humans kind of suck sometimes.
Maybe you're just Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
Maybe she's just
Maybe
Poison
you're-
Ivy.
I love
Maybe
animals
you're a
more than I like
villain.
people more than
You're
No, I see
you're
why, though. I
clearly
see
an
why.
arch villain. You are not. Okay, that is who hurt you. So then
humans.
No. So
Clearly.
then
I got 3 cats. None of them ever hurt me.
There you go.
I
Except
was
when they
a fan.
scratch.
I was a fan of this episode.
Was it your favorite?
It's not my favorite.
Okay.
However, I liked it a lot. What I did not like was the Harley Quinn highway scene taking so long.
That's what I meant.
It
Like,
dragged
it was very
out.
majority.
It was almost, and they didn't even have their typical filler conversations that were strong enough for it to have taken that long.
Yeah.
Now, I understand why they needed to get from point A to point B on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
However, if they had thrown in more zingers as it was going along, then maybe it would have been a lot more entertaining at least. Because other than that, it was kind of pointless. They could have shortened this episode by 4 minutes, easy.
What would have been the fun in that, though?
I mean, I just didn't feel like it. They stretched it out with the Harley Quinn highway. Not that the highway itself was not fun. Not that the idea of the highway wasn't fun. But we went around the loop and then we fell and then we came back and then it was just like it was just too much. However, before that, I thought it was great. They brought up, and as they always do, the little social commentary, gun control, insurance, recycling, things like that. That was just brilliant. Once again, all this brilliant things happening. And so I guess I'm so used to it being a continuously brilliant episode that when there are moments that lag, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, our
makes sense.
expectations are really
of
high.
the people that
which
we
really just
count
means
on that hurt you.
Anyway, which really just means that when it's this low, that means it's like better than regular shows. Still
Way better than
still
regular.
better than regular shows, but it's not on the caliber that we've been used to. I think. At least that's how I feel about it.
I think every season has one of those like filler episodes.
Yeah.
This could be that. This is the filler episode.
Yeah, and we haven't seen that so much from this show. Even though we've seen, but it's not just that it was filler. The entire show, let's be very honest, is filler, right? So this isn't DC fodder the way a Justice League cartoon would be, or the Young Justice cartoon would be, or the Superman or the Batman anime series, where none of these things are part of this collective world which we've created for DC. This is clearly outside its own domain, and it's not taking itself seriously. It's parodying everything. So we all understand that. However, what we expected from it was this very creative script, this creative conversation back and forth between all the characters. And we did not get that for the last 5 minutes, I would say. And
Yeah.
that's what my problem was. Now,
But maybe it was also because they were mad at Harley. So, there's a little bit of that tension there, too, because up to that point, they felt like they had basically been abandoned by this person they had thrown so much loyalty behind. So, I mean, it's not going to... because their banter kind of comes off as like family, right? So if the family is kind of in disarray at that moment, maybe they're just not going to be so easy to like go back into their regular roles.
or maybe they just didn't write a good script all the
That
way
too.
through
I'm
this
just trying
time.
to think of it plot line wise, not the writing. I did like his name escapes me right, but like the whole Transformer thing
Yeah.
with the old guy and like
Sigh.
oh my god,
Borg.
that
Yeah.
was so like gross, and they just like focused on it so long
Oh!
with his like limbs coming
But
out
the
of each other with the
tidbit-
blood.
Or like in the 80s, a toy company came out with an idea. CIA took notice. And the Transformers, I'm a trans changer. It's just
great.
funny, especially given the history of Transformer and how Transformer went to Marvel and that whole conversation. So crew back. The crew is back together. We get, obviously after last week, we saw that Harley wasn't, people weren't a fan of Harley. Harley seemed to abandon her
No.
team. Her team has moved on. What were your thoughts on the crew getting back together?
I mean, there's still some scars there.
100%.
100%. But it, like she was saying, to piggyback off of the whole family thing, a family is family. Like, no matter what you do, you might hate each other at the end of the day, but you come back and you're family.
Yeah, you have 4 kids. We know.
And I think it took them to know that Ivy was in trouble, which once again shows just because Ivy isn't always part of their like harebrained schemes when they go out, that she's very much a solid role in that family unit that they had, to the point where it was like, oh yeah, Ivy's the one in trouble. We need to help save her. Because they weren't going to do it if it was just Harley. And they told her that. It was like, if it was just you, we wouldn't be helping you right now. But because Ivy is the one in trouble, we will do this.
But I bet you they would have. I know
Maybe
they say it, but I bet you they would have.
But you know what? Lead with your thesis statement.
Right?
That was the guy. Lead with your thesis
Like, you should have
statement.
started with that.
Started with this. Because she gave the speech, which was kind of tough.
Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah, no, we're not going to.
Still no.
I loved how, this is what I mean about Clayface, where the Riddler.
Oh, that was
that was
favorite
classic.
part.
Where Riddler's trying to give the thing, and then Clayface keeps stepping on his lines, and then going, well, maybe you should say it like this.
And then he gets him really angry. He's like, yes, this guy. This is the guy that you should be
that's
talking
the
to.
guy you
I'm
need.
like, oh
this
my
is the guy
gosh.
should be giving the. And he's like, the bomb's in the wharf. Just go get it. It's over.
He's like, I don't care.
And take Ivy.
That was
Ivy,
so
take him
great.
back. Take him back. We don't want.
Like, I don't want this guy's my henchman.
Yeah. I mean, the crew's back together. They are reluctantly back together, right, Tati? So when you say they have scars, like, how would you have reacted in this situation? Remember, you feel like Harley betrayed you. Would you have helped Harley, or was Ivy the reason you would have needed?
I think Ivy would be the reason that I would have needed. I don't think that I would go so far as to say that I would let something happen to Harley. I might leave her suspended for a little bit, but in the end, I would still go because I would feel like that was the right thing to do. Even if you're a villain, you
still do the right thing,
yeah,
because you're not Chauncey, and Chauncey would have just let.
Chauncey,
Harley.
I believe in you. Don't let him.
Helped Ivy for sure. I
Helped
wouldn't have-
Ivy.
But
I
We're
wouldn't
talking
have
about
her,
Harley.
no.
Exactly. See, I told you. See, that's who it is. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But what about
I said I was
everything?
gonna-
What about everything that you've already been through? Like the whole
No.
crew has already been through so much.
But she's not in peril. She's not about to die. I can leave her to hang for a bit.
See, you guys, but so they go to rescue Ivy. They go to rescue Ivy and the whole crew, including Sai, who didn't realize he wasn't a part of the team. Goes to rescue Ivy, and she's trapped in this facility where she's poisoned.
Yeah.
I of course love the part. It was like, poisons don't work on me. That's kind of my thing. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, we created a poison that specifically works on you. Goes in, and of course, these are shoot to kill people. The old guy gets out and asks for directions. Like, excuse me, I'm trying. They all like,
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
they just tear him out. So we get the crew, and of course, Sai comes up with hot dog pretzel wrapped.
Which worked.
Hot dog, which worked. It's like,
It worked.
wait.
They all wanted
we
pretzel
love
hot dogs.
hot dogs. I've never even had one
and
of those.
that's
Those are
why
good.
he's a part of the crew.
Yeah.
Yes,
And he gets
just
it,
for
and they
that.
get
I
in.
mean, he used to be an agent, right? A war
Yeah.
criminal and all that stuff. So he knows. I mean, he's old and he gets distracted, but he knows how to infiltrate things.
If anything,
so.
they should pump him for information.
I mean, he knows everything. I feel like there's a lot he knows.
Yeah.
He has a lot of secrets. And my thing is with Ivy, even though clearly Ivy needed rescuing, what I really liked is when they first walked in and they're like, well, without any plants around, she's just a girl. And she's like, yeah, but I have my two hands.
Exactly,
And then
and she
just
still beats her.
dismantles all of them until
Yes.
Scarface, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I appreciated that too because it did.
Scarecrow.
It doesn't lean so much on the idea that Ivy is just the idea that she can
use her power.
use power.
She's also just a
necessarily.
kick-ass woman.
Yeah,
She
can
is.
also
She
fight.
is a kick-ass woman. So she's so kick-ass. When we go in her head, we see her mind, and there's this creepy mansion there in her mind. They go in the way they went to Harley, and Harley knocks her out. And then Dr. Psycho's like, no, we didn't have to do that. You just happened to be knocked out.
Yes. Oh my
You just
God.
basically punched your friend in the face. So they go in her mind, and of course it's dark and gloomy and everything. And your favorite guy's there, being the mystical.
Kite man.
No, not Kite Man. Our
yeah,
plant.
my favorite guy. Oh, Frank.
Frank
Yeah.
is your
Yeah,
favorite.
Frank.
Yeah.
Frank is one of my favorite. But Kite Man made all the
Kite Man became your
imaginary-
favorite guy?
Well,
How could he
wait,
not?
Yeah, I
In the
mean,
last
I
season.
ship them. I shipped them too,
Yeah,
and it was
Kite
nice.
Man. Kite Man. Why is Kite Man there? Why is Kite Man?
Because he's
I
a-
know. I'm just saying. Harley had no idea. Why is
Yeah.
Kite Man? Here we get the Frank is just telling them where to go. I need the magic line. It's like the creepy mansion. We see the dad, but we also see Ivy's biggest fear.
Yeah. That ends up being Harley Quinn.
Yeah, why?
And that kind of threw me off a little bit because I was just like, why? I mean, of course you can just infer that maybe it has to do with because she's one of the closest people to her, she's one of the people that can hurt her the most, which is true in real life, right? Like the person closest to you has the most power to hurt you.
Because you're most vulnerable with them.
Because you're most vulnerable with, because you let them in the most, as opposed to like some person you don't like and they hurt you. It's like, whatever, I don't care, you know? So I kind of got it after they started talking about it during the highway chase and everything. But at first I was like, that's a little anticlimactic. I was hoping it'd be someone I didn't see, but I got it.
Wow.
I'm kind of curious to know why. I guess I could understand why Kite Man wouldn't be there as well. But you know, if she's dating Kite Man, she's eventually gonna be vulnerable with him. In fact, she already has a little bit.
Well,
so.
but look how long it's taken. Like Kite Man, we've seen him chip away, right? We've seen Kite Man kind of have to chip away, and so the biggest thing is actually that Harley saw Kite Man in her mind and was like, why is he here? But you know, Harley's in the dark about that, and I think she's the only one, but clearly in the dark. So the concept is, Pamela Ivy is finally allowing myself to count on someone and they ditch me is her biggest fear. And that is exactly what Harley did 2 episodes ago. Yeah. Right? So we get that biggest fear. We get my biggest fear would be Harley Quinn highway. That would be my biggest fear, is getting on this highway. It would be frightening. It's got a loop.
It's like a roller coaster.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
It would be fun.
It would be
no kids in the car.
Horrible.
It would be fun.
It's impractical. Like they made taxpayers, and they even said the sign like, "This is a great highway." Said no one, or whatever it said. And then her statue, and what Harley did was she actually had to blow up her statue's head in
which was very symbolic.
Symbolic, her ego or whatever it was. Like, I'm sorry, and she apologizes. She's still like, why am I your biggest fear? Finally, Ivy comes clean, and then she basically stops Scarecrow by blowing up her own head. That was symbolic,
or at least we think,
Yeah. But then, clearly didn't stop Scarecrow because he takes the truck into the river, and immediately it sprays everyone, and then monster trees grow up.
Yep.
And are attacking people. And that scene with the guy who's like, I left my wife now, it's finally us. And she gets eaten, he's like, oh, crap.
I thought he was going to call his wife.
It's a brilliant show.
Change of plans.
Dang it.
It's just a good show. Any other little tidbits you guys want to talk about this episode? I mean, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it was one of the more straightforward episodes. It's everything. Let's get into our special segment, How Harley Are You? What part of this episode reminded you of you, Tati?
Definitely the vulnerability. Thank you. Yeah. Vulnerability part.
Yeah. Sure. And you were vulnerable saying that.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. Don't judge me, guys.
I did.
It's definitely, of course you would. It's definitely that part, getting close to somebody enough that you let down your entire guard. That's the person you're most afraid of. And you have to be that way with at least somebody, you know, and that, of course, I get how that would be your biggest fear.
Chauncey?
I feel like I've gone back and forth between Clayface and Riddler when it comes to just the, you're doing something and someone's like back. Like, wait, I don't want to say backdooring because that's not the word. It's,
you know what? I think that's the word. No, I think it's backdooring.
It's backseat.
No, I'm pretty sure it's backdooring.
I'm pretty sure.
That is the new thing.
I'm pretty sure.
What are you doing? Backdooring?
That was my question.
You always get mad. I get it. You're backdooring. Now we know who hurt you.
He is Clayface in this exact moment.
Start something new. Backdooring.
I'm not backdooring you. I'll tell you that.
No, you are not.
I'm not.
Never.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's not what I would ever do. I would let you be you. Mine, of course, will have to be Joker. Yes. We will be back. Where can people find you if you want to be found?
I'm at Tatiana Marisa at Tatiana Marisa on all social media platforms.
Rotten Tomato Chauncey, where can people find you?
Rotten Tomatoes, and you can find my film and TV reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, at I Am Tehran all across the board, and find me hosting and paneling on a slew of other AfterBuzz after shows. All of your favorite TV shows are my favorite TV shows too. Until next week, we're going to be talking way more DC's Harley Quinn. This is such a fun show. We're a fun panel. Come back. We'll see you. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.